Rosalind Russell was a stage and film actress best known for her performances in classic films like His Girl Friday and Gypsy. Although the actress worked hard and stayed positive, she suffered a number of health issues that made life a struggle. Rosalind persevered to her final days despite these health troubles and was survived in life by her loving husband and son. Join Facts First as Rosalind Russell's son reveals details about her personal life. Rosalind Russell was born June 4, 1907, in Waterbury, Connecticut. Perhaps due to the fact that her family was Irish Catholic, Rosalind found herself the middle child of several siblings. They had 7 kids altogether, with Rosalind right in the middle. The young girl liked to refer to herself as the ham in her family sandwich, and loved making her siblings laugh. The Russell family was a wealthy and happy one, and Rosalind always liked to recall in her adult years how her parents would take her and her siblings on fun excursions like horseback rides, country fairs, and skating trips when they were growing up. Rosalind's father was both the director of a bank and a practicing lawyer, giving him plenty of money to provide for his 7 children. Rosalind's easygoing childhood gave her plenty of time to goof around, and it was during these times the young woman practiced making her 6 siblings laugh. By the time she came of age, Rosalind had gotten the idea she wanted to become a performer in some capacity. For advanced schooling, she attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City before trying her hand at the city's theater scene. She first appeared on the scene towards the end of the 20s. In 1930, she made her official Broadway debut in the Garrick Gaieties. As Rosalind's success on the New York stage began to increase, so did her opportunities elsewhere. She caught the eye of Hollywood producers early on and was finally swept up by fledgling studio Universal Pictures in 1934, marking her arrival in Hollywood. Rosalind Russell was excited for the opportunity to come to Hollywood, even though Universal wasn't a very big deal in the industry then. Sadly, the studio didn't end up finding much to do with the actress. According to the late Rosalind, most of her time with the studio was spent reading as a stand-in with men auditioning for roles alongside other actresses. She began to think she'd never make it, but she wasn't ready to give up on her dream. Without letting her handlers at Universal Pictures know, Rosalind went to screen test in secret with the much more prominent studio, MGM. Given her innate talent, her screen test went incredibly well. She was subsequently offered a contract with the studio, but found herself at an impasse thanks to her contract with Universal's. She came up with a fairly ingenious scheme of getting out of her contract. It involved giving herself a decidedly unattractive makeover just before going into a meeting with the studio's head. She did herself up to look much more ugly than she really was, and the studio head let her go without question when she brought up the fact that she was dissatisfied with her new contract. Having successfully pulled one over on the executive, the beautiful actress was free to go to MGM. According to both fans and Rosalind herself, the actress did the majority of her best work while working with MGM. She recalled how impressed she was when she first showed up at the studio, which was one of the preeminent production companies in the industry. One of the things that impressed her the most was the studio's biggest movie stars had entourages following them around, carrying personal portable toilets. While Rosalind would never grow to be one of the studio's biggest stars herself, she became a sturdy player in the production company's arsenal. But she would soon become plagued with personal troubles. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like, and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. And stick around for more about Rosalind Russell. According to the late Rosalind Russell, the main reason she never grew to be quite as big of a star as she arguably deserved to be was because she wasn't willing to play studio politics. While other stars were canoodling with studio executives to get big parts, Rosalind was content playing cards with crew members. She also preferred to keep her private life out of the tabloids as much as possible, meaning that potentially attention-grabbing celebrity romances with stars like Jimmy Stewart were out of bounds when it came to PR stories involving her. Despite all that, her talent and work ethic still made her a reliable player at MGM. She was seen as a good replacement when bigger star Myrna Loy wasn't prepared to take on a role, and she often found herself cast in films alongside the likes of female stars like Joan Crawford and Jean Harlow, often as romantic competition. But despite that, Rosalind and Jean Harlow had an incredibly amicable relationship in real life. When Jean went on to die at the tragically young age of 26, it further illustrated to Rosalind that Hollywood superstardom wasn't for her. According to Rosalind, she spent a lot of time during the final years of Jean's life going to bars and trying to rescue the star from her increasing life of squalor. Sadly, Rosalind's efforts didn't end up proving effective. Besides Jean Harlow, another star that Rosalind ended up becoming pretty close with around that time was Frank Sinatra, who kindly took to both Rosalind and her husband. Rosalind and her husband, who was a producer named Frederick Bresson, spent a lot of time vacationing at Sinatra's guest house during their lives. She met Bresson while filming the motion picture His Girl Friday with Cary Grant in 1939. Bresson was staying with Cary as a house guest, and Cary agreed to set the producer up with his female co-star. When she was invited out to dinner, Rosalind initially thought she was going on a date with Cary Grant. When she got there and realized she was being set up with another man, she was initially hesitant to pursue a relationship with Frederick. But the producer remained adamant in his pursuits, and the actress was eventually won over. They tied the knot in 1941 and were together until Rosalind's death over 3 decades later. A year after their official union, the two welcomed a son named Lance. The release of His Girl Friday in 1940 proved the start of the most successful period of Rosalind's career. She enjoyed an immense amount of success on the screen over the course of the ensuing decade and continued working successfully in following decades leading up to her death. However, her career success during the 40s came with a dark side, as she became overwhelmed during this period and suffered from a nervous breakdown. This was exacerbated by factors unrelated to her Hollywood career, including postpartum depression and husband Freddie leaving for a time to serve in World War II. While she wasn't having the easiest time mentally during the 40s, she pushed through and came out the other end. One of the things that helped her keep her sanity was taking son Lance out to Dodgers games. Although Rosalind managed to persevere through her nervous breakdown in the 40s, this sadly would not be the last of the actress's many personal struggles. In the 1960s, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had to undergo 2 mastectomies over the course of the decade, one in 1965 and the other in 1969. She also began suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. When it came time for her to write the memoir Life is a Banquet, she eschewed any mention of rheumatoid arthritis in exchange for focusing purely on her struggles with breast cancer. When asked why she did so, she claimed that one illness was more than enough for a single book. She spent her final days editing the memoir, which was released in 1977. She passed away in 1976 and was survived by her husband and son. Lance is still alive today and loves reminiscing about good times with his mom and her fighting spirit. Meanwhile, the Arthritis Research Center at San Francisco's University of California is named after her. Now it's time to hear from you. Which part of the story was most surprising to you? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.